Time to talk about the 2025 Arizona State University football team, who is ranked 11th in all the polls across the board right now. I'm Craig Fouhy.
And I'm Collin Harmon. How crazy is that?
This
Remember
is insane.
3 years ago when they're running the swinging gate offense because they didn't have enough guys to suit up? They're getting smoked by Fresno State and turning it over 7 times. And now here we are. They're unanimously 11th in the country. The favorites to win the Big 12. I mean, it's a remarkable turnaround for Kenny. There's not enough positive adjectives you can throw for the turnaround and just the life that's been injected back into this fan base, this community. It's awesome. It's
where this program was under Herm Edwards for 3 years was just atrocious, right? And Kenny comes on and they struggle that first year. Like you said, the swinging gate, they're doing everything they can to win games. And then last year they just came out of nowhere, picked to finish 16th. And now they come into the season. In the AP25, came out last week, they're ranked number 11. That's the highest ranking since 1998.
Well, how funny is it? They broke the preseason Big 12 rankings.
Yeah.
The media poll. They broke it.
It broke it, yeah.
Brett Yormark, the commissioner's like, you know what? You guys have got it wrong. You picked the champion to finish 16th. We're done. It's over.
We're not doing another one. Listen, this team is pretty exciting to watch because they've got so many good players coming back. And everyone's talked about Cam Scadaboo being gone. I think that conversation is done now.
Yeah.
He's doing great with the Giants. We see highlights from him coming out of Giants camp. But I think that conversation is behind us. But now you start looking at what they have and what they brought back. And 7 starters on offense, 10 starters on defense, and that's not even talking about the 2 deep.
I say this. It's remarkable to me in this wild, wild west of college football, as we know it, that has absolutely no rules, it seems.
No.
And, it's basically a 2 times a year you can be a free agent at this point and transfer and go find the top dollar wherever you can.
Yeah.
To hold together your entire 2 deep,
it's pretty wild.
Is insane.
Yeah.
And that speaks to what the coaching staff is preaching. For the ASU special we're doing, it sat down with Jordan Tyson and asked, what is going on? How did nobody, not one guy, say, you know what, I want to go get some more playing time elsewhere. I'm going to go be the guy in X, Y, and Z instead of, hey, Tyson needs a break, JT needs a break. Why don't you go in and and he's just like, we all love playing under Kenny Dillingham.
Yes, they love the environment. Yeah, they love the culture.
We love being with our teammates. We are close.
Yep.
And Sam Levitt talked about it. He goes, we weren't close last year, close enough,
right?
But they weren't like this until they started winning some games and realizing, how could you be close when you don't know what you're going to be?
There were so many question marks coming into last season, right? They didn't know who the starting quarterback was up at Camp Tonazona until the scrimmage. When Sam
it was very obvious.
It was very obvious that Sam Levitt elevated himself to that position. But they had a lot of those kind of positions where we're not sure what we have right now. The tight end situation was a question mark. The offensive line was solid, but we didn't know how good they could be. Cam Scadaboo showed what he could do a year earlier, but we didn't know he was going to be the Cam Scadaboo of 2024 when he turned out to be. So there were a lot of questions, and guys weren't sure about this team and the culture. But now, what Kenny's done at Camp Tonazona, and I can't stress that enough, just going up there and having guys sit around a campfire and talk about who they are, what's important to them, where they're from, what they know, their friends, all about themselves, so that your teammates are learning about who you are, right, in a non-threatening environment. And then the games they play, the skits they put on, the songs they sing, the dodgeball, all the stuff they do up there, hiking up to Frank Cush at the Mount Cush, all those things bond a team. Mm-hmm. And so when you get down to 4th and short, 4th and long, whatever it may be, you remember those things, right? We're a team. We're together in this. We're all together because we went through all those things together.
I was a little caught off guard by Marcus Arroyo, the offensive coordinator, talking about he gave a lot of praise to Camp T last year as a reason for the success that the team had going to the Big 12 championship. What we created up there, something he had never experienced as a player or coach in college football. Yeah. That was a big part of what led to one of the greatest underdog stories in certainly college football. And now you come into this year, a team that's extremely close. They get to hit the ground running with, not learning each other. Of course, you've got a couple transfers, you've got incoming freshmen, but as you mentioned, by and large, everybody is coming back here.
Yep, 4 out of your 5 offensive linemen are back. You've got Kanye Udo, the transfer in from Army, who Army led the nation in rushing last year. He rushed for over 1,000 yards. You've got Kyson Brown.
I think they're running the triple option.
Not running the triple option, but the guy can run, right? He can run the football. Kyson Brown is there too. That's going to be a 1-2 punch. Raleek Brown, Jason Brown, Demarius Robinson. They've got some running backs, and the receiving core is solid with Malik McLean, with Jordan Tyson.
Year 2 in the system.
Year 2 in the system. They've got some new guys that have transferred in that look really good. I mean, the tight end group is solid. I'm just talking offense right now. I haven't gotten to defense yet. And so your offensive unit looks really solid. I was out last night at the doctor's office, and this gal nurse asked me, she goes, she's got an ASU sweatshirt on right under her scrubs, and she says, I said, are you an ASU fan? She goes, yeah, they did really well last year. She goes, but I just don't know about this year. And I'm like, wait, what? You don't know about this year? Let me tell you about this year. And so I went through this whole diatribe about how great they're going to be. She goes, I said, they're picked 11th. She goes, what? Wait, really? Oh, well, that's cool. She got all excited and bounced back into the doctor's office. But it was like she didn't realize just how good this team is this year.
Oh, it's not the scar tissue of any time ASU's had expectations that they fall flat on their face.
Right? No.
ASU seems to be one or the other historically. They come up out of nowhere, and it's a great surprise, and it's a good turnout of fun for fans. Or it's the alternative where, hey, we're going to be great this year. This year's our year.
This is our year.
And
we've talked about that, Collin, over the summer and up at Camp Tontosona last week. Just that's a heavy burden to bear when you have a target on your back and everybody's picking you as the best team in the Big 12, in your conference. You're the best team in your conference. You're picked number 11 in all 3 polls, the coaches poll, the AP, and the National Football Foundation poll. That's a heavy burden to bear.
Absolutely. I mean, they're not catching anybody off guard this year, As much as teams will say, oh, yeah, we don't pay attention to this or that or listen to the outside noise, you hear it. You're human. Everybody does. Oh, it's ASU. They're, at least early in the season, you can say, yeah, this team's supposed to be the worst in the Big 12. We'll just roll out our helmets and we'll be good. No, it's not how it goes. And you got a team now that has bought into themselves. We talked about how they didn't know what they were until they started kind of rolling through it together last year. Well, now they know exactly what they can be. Well, okay, we can trust Sam Levitt.
Yes.
We can we don't have Cam Scadaboo. Well, we can put a lot more on Sam Levitt's plate now that he's year 2 as a starting quarterback. And the belief, the confidence, that's any athlete. That's massive. That's more than half of it is the belief in yourself. So, I don't know. I have ASU, I think, in my head right now at like 9-3.
Okay.
I think the Big 12 is going to eat itself alive.
Well,
There's just so many good teams.
How many teams finished 7-2 in the Big 12 last year?
4, I think.
4 or 5,
there was a 4-way tie.
Yeah.
And you're because no one even played each other in the Big 12.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you're figuring out who lost to Cincinnati. That's not even in the mix. It was the wackiest tiebreaker.
I asked Sam Levitt a couple of weeks ago how he's doing on patience, right? Now that he's coming back for his second season, because I talked to Marcus Arroyo about that. Because one thing quarterbacks talk about a lot is being patient, right? Take what they give you. Don't try and force. And Sam said, you know what? I'm working on that. That's hard. You want to go for the long, explosive play, right? You want the chunk play. You want the big pass. You want to thread the needle between 3 defenders and score that touchdown. He goes, patience is a tough thing for quarterbacks. And he said, I'm working on it. And Marcus Arroyo agreed. He goes, that's one thing we're working on is just take what the defense gives you. Don't try to be the hero, right? If it works out, great. But don't do that on a regular basis because you're going to cost us. If you're going to do it in practice.
I think Sam's also licking his chops. Okay, I know I'm going to be protected with 4 returning starters in front of me on the offensive line. I've got arguably a top 3 wide receiver in Jordan Tyson out that direction. Got Malik McLean, who's year 2 in the system over there. Got Jaron Hamilton coming in, an Alabama transfer who his nickname is Turbo because the guy flies behind the defense. And we've seen this time and time again throughout practice scrimmages of him catching deep balls for touchdowns. Jalen Moss coming in from Fresno State. I think top to bottom, that room and the team as a whole is just consistently better top to bottom. Last year, we had Cam Scadaboo, 2,400 yards, 2,300 yards, 24 touchdowns.
24 touchdowns,
Well, now you got a group that you mentioned the tight ends, Shimon Mateer comes back, and he had a really good year last year, AJ Ia, keep a name out for that guy. Freshman coming in, he's making a ton of plays so far in fall camp and up at Camp T. You've got a 3-headed monster at running back. There's a lot of places that ASU can go with it, and
Yeah.
and now that everybody's comfortable in it,
Yeah.
the coaching staff didn't turn over either. Nobody
No.
left. So
that was crazy too, because Hines Ward had opportunity, Brian Ward had opportunity, and they all stayed. They chose to stay because they like what this group brings back. They like being around Kenny. They like the energy.
they don't have to start over in anywhere, which
No,
is
they're not.
fantastic for a team that got so hot at the end of the year.
They rebuilt the tight end room, right? Other than Shimon Mateo, they rebuilt all those guys in there. But like you mentioned, AJ Ia, and they've got some other guys, Cameron Barode, and the other kid that's back there, I can't remember his name, Anderson. The other tight end. They've got some good tight ends. They've got some tight ends that can be weapons for the offense. So let's talk about defense.
It's gonna be a different looking offense this year.
Very different. Yeah, it's very different in terms of the weapons, and they're spreading the ball around to different things. And I think Jordan Tyson, when he talked to you, he said, "Look, I got other guys at receiver that he can throw to, so that takes a little pressure off me too."
I think we'll see a lot more throwing on first down, or you could just hand it off to Cam and it's 6 yards in a cloud of dust and he's a bowling ball out there. It's just going to be different this year.
Yeah, and defense, we talked about this earlier, 10 starters returning. And
That's a crazy number.
It is insane. Prince Dorba, CJ Fight, Clayton Smith, Keyshawn Elliott, Jordan Crook, Keith Abney, Miles Rouser, Ghost, Xavier Alford, Xavier Robinson. I mean, they've got so many guys coming back on defense. That's not even, into the too deep, where they've got so many guys returning where you can keep guys fresh and rotate guys through.
I mean, they got NFL players on the defensive line, linebacker room.
They do.
Their safeties are fantastic.
I think I saw a list that there's like 15 guys that could be drafted or picked up next year in the NFL draft. 15 on one team.
The amount of experience.
That's Alabama's.
Yeah, right.
Right.
14 guys, I want to say, had 200 or more snaps played last year.
Gee whiz.
I mean, that's an experienced group. So talking about how ASU is going to look different, and that was just more focused on offense. I think that's the bigger picture. This is going to be more of a defense-led team, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think when it's all said and done, I mean, Brian Ward's a fantastic defensive coordinator. The stuff that he draws up and can now get it out of guys that have been in his system for a long time and have the amount of talent that they have coming back on that side of the ball. Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing an old school like ASU defensive-led team.
A stat that you've been talking about, 79% of production. That's on defense too, right? It's not just the offense. It's like 78 to 79% offensive and defensive production. This is a defense that finished first against the rush last year in the Big 12 Conference, allowing only 112.9 yards per game to opponents. That's impressive. The defense was third in scoring, first against the rush, fifth in total defense. That's pretty solid.
Now it's about turning people over. We saw them turn teams over towards the back half of the year. I think it was relatively low in the early part of the year, and then they started getting going. So that'll be the name of the game for this side of the ball. But I mean, it's a scary good group.
Yep.
Problem is there's so many good quarterbacks in the Big 12.
Yeah.
You look across the conference.
Oh,
I mean, almost every week you're going to be playing a guy that was a starting quarterback last year. I mean, 9 starting quarterbacks that return for the conference.
The stat that kicked out to me was ASU comes in as the favorite to win the Big 12, and then there's 10 other teams in the hunt. There's only 16 teams in the conference. There's 11 that are in the hunt. That's crazy.
Well, it's like they didn't really leave the Pac-12 in that regard, where everyone just eats themselves every Saturday night.
And you look at the number of games they won that ASU won by 7 or less points, right?
Are they 6-2?
Yeah, 6-2 in those games. Yeah. And Kenny talked about that. He goes, you flip those, and it's a whole different story for us. But we've garnered all this information. They finished number 1, by the way, last year in time of possession, too, offensively. And that's because you had a guy like Cam Scadaboo. But I think they can do that, right, with this running back we talked about before. Defensively, they weren't great in the red zone. They finished number 10 in the Big 12 last year in the red zone. So I know that's an issue for defensive coordinator Brian Ward, and what he wants to accomplish is get better in the red zone, keep teams out.
When we look at the schedule,
we happen to have that right here.
Week 2. Starkville, cowbells just in your ear for 4 hours.
We said that last year, remember, about going from the Pac-12 to the Big 12 and how it was going to be a culture shock. And Kenny agreed with that a year ago. When you go from the Pac-12 with the way the Pac-12 was laid out and the games on the road to the Big 12, where every team in the Big 12 sells out, right? It's a crazy conference where they have passionate fans.
They live, breathe, eat, and sleep college sports.
And now you get to take another step in that by stepping into the SEC at Mississippi. Not that Mississippi State's a great team.
No, ASU smoked them last year. But
playing at Starkville is a whole different animal for these guys that haven't experienced it.
Yeah, so you go back to Sam Levitt. Okay, I feel a lot better having Sam Levitt at the helm
Yes.
going into Starkville
With
as opposed to
experience.
maybe Sam Levitt week 2 last year,
Right,
where
right.
hey, what are we going to get when Mississippi State comes to Tempe?
Yeah.
Ended up going really well for ASU, but
Yeah.
then you get let's get out of that. Texas State,
Yep.
who was a tough game last year in
Yes.
Texas. And then you get to the Big 12 opener
At Baylor.
At Baylor.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's going to be a team that when you talk about, hey, there's 10 teams that could win the Big 12, Baylor's right up there
Yep.
as maybe a top 3 team in the conference.
Oh, yeah.
You know, quarterback's the most important position, not just in football, but all of sports.
Right.
And they've got a prolific quarterback returning, right up there with Sam Levitt. You've got arguably the best running back in the conference, certainly the best tandem running backs in the conference. And you're on the road in a Big 12 opener. I mean, that's going to Waco.
Waco's
not fun.
No, it's not an easy place to play. And it's interesting, too, because ASU is one of 5 teams in Division I favored in every single game this year.
Well, what was it? It was like Clemson, Penn State, Ohio State, and Notre Dame, I think. Or Georgia might have been part of that, too.
Those are
Something like
blue
that.
bloods.
Yeah,
Those are
right?
blue bloods.
And Arizona State.
And granted, some of these games are 1, right? They're favored by 1. They're favored by 2. Favored by 1 at Baylor. Favored by 2 at Iowa State. But to be at Utah, favored by 1. But you're still favored in every single game, and there's only 5 schools across the Power 4 that are favored in every game.
That's remarkable. Yeah, you bring up the Utah game.
Yeah.
Rice Eccles.
Tough place to play.
Doesn't matter. Every year, Kyle Whittingham has that team, that defense just locked and loaded, ready to go. Not an easy place to play.
No.
That'll be interesting because Devin Dampier, former Saguaro quarterback, played at New Mexico. He comes over. His offensive coordinator at New Mexico is now the OC at Utah. You know, they're finally past the whole Cam Rising. Is he playing? Is he not?
Say
like
that the Kyle Whittingham loyalty to Cam Rising made it difficult for them last
had
year.
to be impossible for those kids to figure out what are we doing this week.
Is he going to play? Is he not going to play?
They've got a quarterback if he can stay healthy, which has been a huge problem at Utah. Like I think Utah has a huge bounce back season. I think they're ticked in Salt Lake, just about kind of the way the last few years have gone.
Yeah.
That's a tough game.
Yeah.
Iowa State, November, Ames. Ugh.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
A team that you absolutely ran out of the building at Jerry's World in the Big 12 championship.
Yep.
They've got 14 starters back.
They're pretty good.
They've got that game circled on their
yeah.
calendar since last January.
Yeah, you have to go to Iowa State and Ames,
Texas Tech, that's the homecoming game here. It's the first ranked game that ASU plays at home or at any point on their schedule. Hit the portal probably harder than any. We've seen across all Texas Tech sports.
Yeah.
They've got billionaire like oil money coming in now,
and
they're just hitting the portal hard. And they did that in college football, and so they're going to be a big wild card.
Yeah.
On paper, they look great. What are they going to be, though? You send this many guys from different schools into the mix. Are they going to mesh? But Texas Tech is one of those teams. That could be a tough game. TCU's, it's just you go to the parity of the Big 12.
Correct.
And that's where I feel like it's the Pac-12 all over again, just without the Pac-12 After Dark slogan. Like anything can happen in any given week.
Yeah. We have an ASU Camp Tonazona special coming up on Sunday, August 18th at 10:30 at night. It's August 17th, excuse me, this on a Sunday night. It's going to air again on the 24th. It's going to be everywhere. So if you want to see it, it's really well done, put together with a one-on-one with Kenny. You got a one-on-one with Jordan Tyson. We mic'd up special teams coach Charlie Regal. We're getting all kinds of comments from players, from Sam Levitt to the coordinators on both sides of the ball. So real good show if you want to check it out. It'll be online too. You'll be able to see it everywhere. But this is, to me, an exciting season for ASU and ASU fans.
How far do you have to go back to think the last time there was this much kind of hype going in to a season? I know we talk about the rankings and 1998. Well, Jake Plummer had just left.
That's because they were coming off that Rose Bowl.
Yeah, but they're not bringing back the level of talent that they are now.
Yeah. It was the 96 season when they beat Nebraska at home, who had just coming off a national championship. They went to the 97 Rose Bowl, and you're coming into 98, and everybody's thinking this team's going to be great. But it's been since 98. That's a long time. That's a long stretch for Sun Devil fans. You deserve it. You deserve to,
right?
You deserve to have the recognition. You deserve to come in excited and pumped up for this football team.
I'm fired up. College football's here. Yeah. Oh, and then, hey,
Sports Extra.
Don't forget. August 30th.
That's right.
First show. And we got Alabama, Florida State to start things off.
Good stuff.
LSU at Clemson, Battle of Death Valley.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. And then we got NAU, ASU that night.
Yeah.
It's here. We're almost
back.
there. Almost. Yes. College football.